It's a hot real estate market. Too much demand, low interest rates, and a surge for space because of COVID. Real estate lawyers are working at a furious pace and find themselves at a higher risk of making a mistake and facing a malpractice claim. So how do you stay claim-free? Here are our top 5 tips. First, confirm title instructions. Clients, often spouses, want to be registered on title as joint tenants, but sometimes end up getting registered as tenants in common. This may lead, for example, to increased probate fees if the deceased's interest ends up being passed through the estate. Second, ensure that you review payout statements. We get reports every year from lawyers where they pay out a mortgage based on the payout statement received from the bank, who later refuses to discharge the mortgage. Review the payout statement, making note of any dates, terms, or conditions. Often, they will include instructions to call on the day of payout for an up-to-date balance. If that's the case, include a reminder in the file to follow up. And if the payout amount is given over the phone, make a note of the updated amount on your file. Better still, send a confirming email to the bank. Watch for some payout statements that give specific instructions as to where the monies should be sent, and send funds on the express condition to provide you with a registrable discharge. And always use the CBA undertakings, which require commercially reasonable efforts when it comes to clearing title. You don't want to be giving or accepting blanket undertakings to clear title or discharge mortgage. Number 3, turn your mind to PTT and GST. Let's talk about property transfer tax. Lawyers get into trouble because they don't fully understand the exemption requirements or simply fail to ask the right questions. We've seen claims where just one exemption requirement is missed and a client is reassessed tax as a result. Also, take time to document your client's instructions when it comes to each of the exemption requirements. It may take months or even years for a transaction to get audited and reassessed, and you will need that paper trail to defend your actions. Not sure if a particular transaction qualifies for an exemption? Call the ministry and run it by them, or consider getting an advance ruling. Also, watch Marlon Song's video on our website for more PTT tips. Now let's talk about GST. If you're acting for the vendor and the purchaser has agreed to self-assess the tax, obtain a valid GST certificate and confirm that the GST number noted on the certificate is valid. Without the certificate, the vendor ends up getting tagged for the GST, often with interest and penalties added. Make sure you confirm that the GST number is valid at the time of the transaction. This can be done by a simple online search or by calling CRA's Business Inquiries line. Number 4, CYA and document everything. It is critical that you document all communications in your real estate transactions. If an extension has been agreed to, document it. Notes, emails, and letters often serve as crucial evidence in defending a claim made against you later. Number 5, the collapsing deal. This is what happens when one party backs out of or can't complete the deal, often at the last minute. The vendor fails to send the transfer, or you get a call that the mortgage funds won't be arriving. This development can be tricky to navigate, especially within the time constraints that you may be facing. When managing a collapsing deal, refer your clients out to litigation counsel as soon as possible. But if there's not enough time to retain a litigator, take care to preserve the rights of your client. Have your precedents ready. If acting for the purchaser, you'll want to preserve their right to claim for specific performance and all potential damages in the alternative, including the return of their deposit. If acting for the vendor, you'll want to preserve their rights also to enforce the deal and claim the deposit and further damages. We provide helpful resources and precedents about what to do when a deal collapses. Lastly, a bonus tip. Read the Bencher's Bulletin article, Know Your Client Primer. Whether you're a new or an experienced real estate lawyer, this article is invaluable. It sets out in 25 tips how to avoid mistakes and claims, as well as the Law Society rules and BC code obligations you have. You'll want to keep a copy of the article handy. It may well save you and your firm from a claim.